Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Women's Fittest. I'm here with Melissa Brodsky. Yay! Maybe possibly Brooke is going to join us later. I know I talked a little bit before about how difficult it is. It's just hard to get everybody on. And we're also busy. I love that, Melissa, you texted me and you're like, it's so nice that we have each other. even
Sure.
even if we can't all pop on for a podcast all at the same time. But so it was your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
How old are
Yeah,
you now?
26. Sounds very old to me.
I was just gonna say just a baby.
I don't know, 25 sounds like young. Not that 26 sounds old, it just sounds like an adult. Like I'm like a real human, you know?
Yeah, yeah, you're on your way.
Yeah, yeah, that happens.
Oh my gosh. Say what you had just said. What was this thing, this epiphany line that you had about do you remember what it was now?
Yeah, yeah. I've been telling everyone this. Um,
Yeah.
I was thinking about the friends that I have now and the people that I'm surrounded with and how I've moved from place to place kind of a little bit spontaneously. And I realized that what I've done is I've gotten to know the people that I like. And I think many people spend their lives and their energy trying to like the people that they know and that they already are around. Um, and they don't always like them, but they try to, and they're there, and it's easier than the unknown of people that you have yet to meet.
Yeah.
So I think people need to get to know the people that they like instead of trying to like the people that they know.
Yeah. I saw on TikTok a while back where this girl was like, I don't know where she was, somewhere, and some girl was talking to her, and there were two girls, and the other girl, one left, she came back, and she was like, I think we could be friends. Can I get your phone number? And she was just like, I think we need to normalize that, like finding your people in random places. Like you said, like you don't like you want to like the people that are around you, and you don't always like, it's kind of scary to like find new people, but you just, I feel like my life too now is people that I actually connect with, and a lot of them don't live close to me, and that kind of sucks, but it's okay too.
Yeah, I mean, because we have this.
Yeah.
We have this. And that's something that like my mom is kind of struggling with a little bit with, she's deciding to move. She hasn't decided where she wants to move yet. She thinks North Carolina. She's lived in Maryland all her life. And she said that, it's not easy to meet people and at her age.
Yeah.
And I said, well, the people that I have in my life right now, like they're a whole range of ages.
Yep.
It's not the people my age, it's the people. It's who the person is. Age really is just a number. And I get that it's scary, I'm sure as someone who's lived a lot of life trying to go and find people with the intention of finding people, because it also doesn't really happen like that. You don't go out like, who am I gonna find? You it happens when you don't know what's gonna happen, when you
Yeah.
don't know that you're gonna connect with people.
Yeah, I think
And
it's kind of like dating too, right? Like I said this before, like women are always trying to find some guy, and it's like he's not lost, you're lost. You need to find yourself, and then the right people will come to you. It's
yeah,
such a waste of time to look for something that isn't lost, you know?
right. Right. And something that you will likely find doing the things that you're doing for yourself, because that's where the people that you're gonna align with are gonna be. I had a friend who's in, I think he's like in his 30s, and he said he doesn't really go out. He's like kind of like socially awkward. He's an awesome person, but like he's not like, the bar isn't his scene. And he was like, I should go out more so I can meet people, so I can date. And I was like, well, if you do that, then you're going to meet a bunch of people who like things that you don't like.
Yes.
And there might be more quantity, but the quality is not going to be there. So you're better off doing the things that you like. And then out of a smaller quantity of people, maybe you'll find someone.
Yeah.
But you can't go, doing things that aren't you and expect to find people that are you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my mom had said this to me too around the turn of the new year. And I said, somebody, like a girlfriend had invited me to like go out for New Year's. And she was like, she said the same thing. You are like, you might go out and have fun. Just be careful. These aren't really your people. Like, you don't go out to the bar, same thing, at like to stay out until midnight. Like, you would never do that. So, unless you're finding people who are going out strictly for the occasion, that particular
Right.
occasion, yeah, like where is the connection gonna lie? It's so fascinating. Like, it's very deep, really, to think about. Like, you want to find people where you are, not where they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's so many relationships where, just like we were talking about, like you might initially really like someone, but
Mhm.
then like I was in a relationship where we were together for like 3 months and then we moved states together to live together. And after about 3 more months, you learn someone. And it's like it's nothing against you, but
Yeah.
I don't like you as a person. Like I liked some things about you, but now that I know you better and how you handle yourself and how, we communicate,
Yeah.
it's not there.
Yeah. And I
And
know,
that's okay. That's okay. Go find something else. I mean, I stayed for a long time, but I then realized, wait a minute, like I don't have to commit to this for the rest of my life just because the first 3 months were great.
yeah.
Because he would say, he was like, we were so good in the beginning. Yeah, I didn't know you yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you honestly have to give, like, again, I'm mentioning TikTok again, but I saw a TikTok where this girl was like, the 3 months is the honeymoon phase. 6 months, you kind of start seeing more and you get to decide. And this is the time where you start ignoring the red flags. If you can be around somebody for 9 months, there might be something worth investing in there. And I think that goes like anything that you can apply to dating, you can apply to any type of a relationship, I think, because I mean, everybody's trying to put their best face forward. I'm always like, oh, I'm actually like really quiet, and I probably complain a lot about stuff because in a joking manner, because that's how I get through. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, like I'm not always happy and positive and really outgoing because I'm not really outgoing. Like, I'm a quiet, like I'll connect with one person if I'm out somewhere and we'll just sit and like I want to invest in like one person at a time. That's how I am. Yeah. So we were talking a little bit too about communication, and I think that's really important too for all relationships. It's tough in this day and age because we're all expected to like respond to things right away because we have phones. So there's a lot of pressure. You know how like I'll have it with my mom, like she'll text me and then I'll call her and like she doesn't pick up the phone and it's like you just you're like
Right. Right. But then it's like fine because like that also like I've done that.
yes.
Or if someone's not picking up and you're like getting mad at them for not picking up. But like maybe like they went to the bathroom and their phone's in the kitchen. Like,
I know.
but
I
like
don't
you're
do it.
pissed.
I do it with my daughter all the time. I'm like, I thought somebody kidnapped you. And she's like, I was taking a shower. Can you just
Valid.
I'm like, people kidnap people in the shower. Like, it's legit. But you had said before, and I think it's really funny because you do, and when you don't know what's going on, you make up this whole scenario. And depending on how crazy you are, like I can really like, what is happening? Not really about guys. Like I'm not on that realm, but just with anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, the truth is, you cannot know what's going on in someone else's head.
No.
And they might have a totally different story in their head than the one that you're making up.
Yeah.
But the feelings that you get from the things that you tell yourself are real,
Yeah.
and then they become real. And then you present yourself with those feelings, and they might not even be, and they're valid according to your thoughts,
Sure.
but they might not be valid according to the reality of the situation.
Yeah. This is
So
why,
don't make yourself crazy.
yeah. This is why feelings are so, I mean, they're so fickle, right? Like you can't trust your feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a important balance of rationalization and emotion.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation with my cousin a few months ago about how um I think it's so important to be, I think having control of, say it, having control of your emotions, being able to separate yourself from your emotions, like literally acknowledging what you're feeling and like putting it in front of you and then like separating yourself from that and then seeing how that actually applies to the situation at hand. I think that's the ultimate form of mind control over yourself.
Yeah.
Being able to be like, to feel them and then be like, okay, I am feeling this, but like they are just feelings. That doesn't mean that that the feelings are wrong, but it also doesn't mean that the feelings are
Right.
valid in the situation.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just,
It's not, yeah, not necessarily what is true. So yeah.
and then not suppress those feelings, but manipulate your own feelings according to the situation. Then you can really control your environment, which is both helpful and terrifying. I mean, if you can manipulate, if you can like recognize your feelings, then manipulate what feelings you are portraying,
Yeah.
you can control anything that's going on around you. If you are terrified, but you can present as confident, well, all of a sudden you're going to have a different effect on the room around you.
Yeah. I think a couple of things. One, just putting it on pause. I like it. I like to do this for a lot of things. Responding, and this goes back to like, we're expected to respond to things right away, but I think sometimes if you can pause something for a period of time, or somebody asks you to do something, a lot of times you're caught up in the moment. You're like, oh yeah, I will. And then you're like, oh wait, I don't really want to. Or like you said, maybe you don't like that person that much, but you wanted to please or whatever it is. But if you can just give it like I'm let me check my schedule, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Giving something a time span where you can let your feelings that have maybe peaked just level out a little bit so you can rationalize how you really feel about something and give a proper response. Like I think if you don't have things regulated yet, giving yourself a grace period to respond to something will allow you to have a more accurate representation of what you want to say or portray, rather than responding at the peak of your emotion right at that time.
Yeah, no, that's true. And then you avoid like if you do respond at that peak and then and maybe and that is because it's real then it's not
Right.
invalid, it's totally true,
Yeah.
but then have you ever calmed down and then you look back and you're like, okay, I really did feel that way at that time, but now you see it more rationally and
Yeah.
that wasn't the way that your current self would handle it.
Yeah. Or like buyer's remorse. Like I remember this is something I remember Renee Jewett saying how her Amazon save for later is like so many things. And she was like, I'll put it in my cart and I will literally wait 30 days before I buy something to make sure it's something I want to buy.
It's a good, I have,
Yeah.
that's bad.
It's so,
Before Amazon, like I'd go into like CVS for like a thing I needed, and then I'd buy like $10 makeup things.
yes.
And then, I'd be spending $100. And then like 6 months later, I'm going through all of my crap in my bathroom, and I'm like, this is thousands of dollars of stuff
Yeah.
that I didn't use, but in the moment, it was such an emotional impulse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Yeah.
there's a lot of remorse there.
And this is like it's a discipline, right? Like a lot of the things that we do in bodybuilding and we apply, things that we apply to bodybuilding or whatever, it's like delayed gratification and all that stuff. What do I want now versus, because I mean, even the money thing, it's like, yeah, I could probably go over everything I bought from Amazon in 2022. And it's like, at least $1,000 worth of stuff that I probably shouldn't have bought. And I would have rather now have $1,000, So I think it's applicable to a lot of things. You don't eat the cupcake now because you're trying to get your abs, and that's going to take, a little bit more discipline, or, you don't want to work out, but you go. I mean, it applies to all the things that we do.
Dude, bodybuilding, I use that on myself all the time. I'm like, you can do it in this situation, just apply it to this other situation. And it's just like it's simple, but no, it's not easy
Yep.
because impulses and habits and um something that we don't have to get too deep into, but I've been thinking about a lot lately. I listened to this one podcast, and it was about archery, and the guy was talking about open and closed loop systems. So it's a little complicated, but and I've been like developing these thoughts about it because it applies to so many things. But basically, open loop systems are automatic systems, and closed loop systems are intentional systems. And something automatic is something that I'll use driving as an example. Driving, when you first begin to learn to drive, it's a closed loop system because everything you're doing is conscious thought.
Yep.
You are aware of every little move that you're making, every hand motion, every, you're looking all the directions, gas, like there's nothing going on that you're doing mindlessly.
Yep.
But then as you learn to drive, as you get comfortable driving, like now, you don't even think about it. You're just doing it. And that's why, a lot of accidents happen because you're thinking about the result instead of the I guess the journey to the result, the parts that go into it.
Because it's not a
Um,
normal part of what would be happening when you're driving.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so when you're mindless, you're on autopilot with all those other things. When something happens that doesn't normally happen, you can't help but react.
Right.
However, when you're working in a closed loop system and you're intentional with everything, you are thinking as you go, so you're never gonna react. You're already in control
Yeah. This is a
as
major portion of the journey because you haven't created that like autopilot yet, really.
exactly. And we, the creatures that we are, the things that we do habitually become autopilot. And it was cool listening to this podcast because it's something that I've been trying to remind myself and teach myself and thinking about a lot. And this gave me words for it. It connected those dots for me. Um, is when it comes to like food or I don't know, anything in my day, if my habit is to get home from my day and go sit in my bed and be on my phone, and I know that I should do something else, i'm still doing I'm taking the action to go and lay in my bed, but that's because that's what's comfortable. That's what my body is used to doing. But it's just as easy for me to open my computer and start getting to work on something,
Yeah.
but I just haven't implemented that into my process.
Right.
And so it takes conscious effort, a closed loop
Yeah.
system to do that.
It's almost like you have to create the accident in order to deviate from the behavior. So you're the one creating the change.
Exactly. And that goes with everything. It's like if we could, we're programmed to form these open loop systems, and it's going against our biology to do things closed loop,
Yeah.
to do things
Yeah.
completely intentionally.
Yeah, because we want comfort and familiarity, and it's unfamiliar and it's chaotic to make a change like that. So have you ever heard of like um habit, I think it's called habit stacking, where you like piggyback a habit you want to change onto something that you already do to try to incorporate it? Like, I think one that I hear all the time is like when people are trying to drink more water, every morning you wake up in the morning and you make your cup of coffee. So while your coffee is brewing, you pour a glass of water and you drink your water while your coffee is brewing, because you're going to be drinking a coffee that you brew. So you stack a habit onto that in order to try to achieve your goal.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard of that, and I've
Yeah.
never implemented it as habit stacking, but I've definitely used that
Yeah.
often. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of easier sometimes when you analyze your day and realize what your patterns are. And then you also know like things that you need to change, because it's really like, a lot of people will be, say, watching TV at night and they're like, this is when I'm snacking. So you have to figure out what is going on in your environment at that time that makes you behave that way. And it's a lot of backtracking through your day and figuring out kind of where you want to change that path.
right, right. I mean, I think sometimes it is backtracking. Sometimes it's something like, if you can't, because it's hard. Even if you backtrack, how do you pinpoint what leads you to that? Well, because at this point, what's leading you to that is the habit of doing it.
Yeah.
So maybe you sit in a different spot now.
Yeah. I
So
think like,
that way you're not comfortable. You feel strange. You're in a different spot, but then you're aware that like, oh, you change spots so that you don't snack.
yeah. Yeah. And I think too, it's like, I feel like backtracking is helpful because a lot of people will be like, oh, it's the end of the day. Especially like you have, let's say, a woman who has a family. She's like maybe finished work. They've all had dinner. Now this is her time to relax. And it's like probably an association of snacking with relaxation and calm and comfort and that type of thing. So you have to figure out, how to change that. And I think you're right. Location has a lot to do with it. Like you just put yourself in a different spot. Now you have a different view. Now you've just changed your environment, and now it's kind of open to a new behavior,
Right.
and it doesn't seem so foreign. So
I'm
yeah,
sorry. I have to pee really bad. Can I leave you alone for a minute? I'll be right back.
can pause. I'm not sure. Probably not. Oh, that's so funny. So I don't know if Brooke is going to join us. I had talked about that at the beginning. Brooke is so great about coming on here when she can, but the girl works so much and has very, very little windows of opportunity to podcast. So just know that it is such a sacrifice for her and for Melissa as well, because I know Melissa is super, super busy. But for them to come on, and I think of it as such a treat. I would love to have these chick chats more regularly, and we'll just kind of see how things go. But yeah, it's really tough to get everybody on all at once. And Kira was going to come back on, but Kira is dealing with quite a bit of stuff. And I think that we'll just have to see if we can get her back on one of these days and she can talk a little bit about what is going on. So I was just hi. I was just explaining that Brooke might be on. But I want you to know too, I do really appreciate your time because I know it's valuable and I know that you're always busy. And I know I'm always busy and Brooke is always busy too, but I think it is it's just really nice to hear your thoughts about things. So, oh, tell us about your birthday. Did you do anything fun?
Oh, um,
What can
yeah.
you tell us?
Uh, so I went to on Friday. I went to Kaiwachi. He was at this club that we have here called the Ritz. He's a dubstep DJ, and I recently discovered that I love dubstep. Um, it I had an ex a few years ago, like my early 20s, who listened to some of it, some like kind of screamo stuff, and I it was fine. I appreciated that he liked it, but it didn't do anything for me. Like I didn't really like it. But there were always like a few songs I didn't know they were called dubstep, but like a few songs I had on my playlist I like from Excision and Sullivan King, and then I went to EDC, a festival with my friends when I first moved here, and that music speaks to my soul. I love it. I listen to it in my car, in the gym, during cardio, all the time, and I love it. So Kawachi is a dubstep DJ.
Mhm.
It's like heavy bass, and we got a couple of VIP tables, and it was like 30 or 40 of like my friends. Like I have that many friends. Like I love these people. I like I every day I tell them like I it's like an emotional thing because I just what an incredible thing to have people that are like my people that I want to be around all of them all the
Yeah,
time. It's
yeah,
awesome. So we all and it was like five of us all have birthdays this week. So yeah, yeah. So it was kind of like a joint birthday party thing. And then on Saturday, we had a dinner with again like 30 of us. Um, for all of our birthdays, we did dinner and we went out again. And we didn't sleep all weekend, and it was so much fun. And on Saturday, it was really fun because we went out to a couple of clubs and like the music was like okay, but like it was, we were with each other, it was fun, a lot of people watching. There's this place here called the Castle that's like it's like um goth people like this whole scene, and the music was not my thing, but the people watching was fantastic. So that was cool. And then we ended up going to my friend's apartment and putting on the kind of music that we like the dubstep
Mhm.
and like lasers on the TV. And we just had our own little dubstep concert in the apartment. And it was so much fun. Both nights we were up until like 6 a.m. And now I'm back to prep mode. So,
that
but
was
that
what
was,
I was going to ask you. Like, where are you in prep now? What's the plans with that? What's going on?
my plan is to do Tampa. It's 23 weeks away. And Texas is 2 weeks after that, Texas Pro. So
Is that
I,
July, August?
August, first week of August is Tampa.
Okay.
And then third week of August is Texas. So my intention is to do Tampa,
Okay.
and my intention is to win Tampa. But as a backup, I have Texas 2 weeks after that.
Okay.
So those are my plans.
Nice.
Thank you.
How is training and stuff going? Like where are you guys like trying to get up on the scale or are you just going off pictures?
Um, right now I'm trying to come down a little, but I've been off of all PEDs. I've been off of everything since the beginning of August, so 6 months or more than 6 months now.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, and considering like I'm pretty fucking strong, and like my carbs are super low right now, and I'm strong and I feel good and
Okay.
I feel like I look good. Like I training is awesome.
Okay.
I'm just curious how strong I could be if I were eating more and if I were on anything, but that's just in my head. It's like, what if, you know?
Yep.
But everything is perfect. My blood work is perfect. Training is amazing. It's yeah, it's really good.
So
Cardio,
process has
cardio
started.
is pretty high right now.
What's
I'm
that?
doing cardio is pretty high right now. I'm doing an hour a day. Um,
Okay.
and interesting, I want to say this for the people listening. So I'm doing the stairs for cardio, no hands, of course. Of course. Uh, and so everyone knows Rachel is like the stairmaster monster. Like she turns that bitch up to 14 and just goes, and it's,
I
you know,
actually didn't know this, but okay.
she kills it. And you know, I look up to her in ways that she pushes, and so I've been cranking my stairmaster cardio up, and I've been doing mine on like level 11 on our stairs. For my cardio was at 45 minutes. And after a few weeks, I checked in with Shelby, and I told him, I was like, you know, it was going really well at first. It was hard, but it was good. I started at like level 8, and then each every few sessions I was able to go up a level, and until I was at 11. And then after a few weeks I checked in, and I was like, it's getting grueling. Like it's hard, and by the time like I'm getting through the cardio, and then I train clients, I train myself, and then around 2 p.m. by the time I'm like done with all my physical stuff, um and I have work to do, I'm trash. Like I can't think.
Yeah.
Um
So you
and
did an hour of cardio hard,
I was doing 45 minutes
45
before.
hard on the stair climber.
Yeah. And he said, take it down to level 6.
Yeah. He was
And
like,
I was like, I was like, I feel like such a pussy. But that's what I've been doing for the past like 5 days now, 6 days.
yeah,
And I mean, it's so easy now in comparison, like so easy. I've been doing it for an
yeah,
hour.
yeah,
It's nothing
yeah.
now. And it's comfortable, and I feel better later in the day. So, okay. But
Your like central nervous system was probably like, no.
yeah, exactly. And then that's why I want to mention that, because different things work for different people.
Yeah,
I I can do that, but is that optimal for me?
yeah,
Apparently not right now. Maybe some other time it will be. Maybe, if I have more food. I don't know. But whatever the reason is that it's not working for me, this is now working for me.
have you ever counted like do you have like a counter of how many steps you've taken in a day or you take it a day? Do you have
I
any
don't
idea?
carry my phone enough.
Okay.
I don't wear a
So
watch. So
say it again about your watch.
I don't wear a watch.
Okay.
And I don't carry my phone on me that much, so I have no idea.
I was just curious. Does Rachel do the same? Does she train people and stuff too? Is that also her job?
Mm-mm. She does online stuff.
See, that might be the difference because you are probably on your feet all day. So you're doing,
No, there's no comparison. There's no comparison. No, no. I think it's just like I physically, like, I can't handle that.
yeah,
I I I mean, I can like mentally handle it. I
yeah,
can push through it,
yeah,
but my body was just like, I think last year I was doing it too. And it was interesting, toward the end of my prep last year, I had a bunch of stuff going on where like my blood was awful, and just, all these hormonal things. But I also, for the last like 8 weeks of my prep, I was on zero cardio and zero carbs,
yeah.
because every time I would do cardio, I would go up like 5 pounds.
Mm,
And it was just really bizarre. So we're just trying to find something that, because it's not, people do level 6 on the stair. You see people like leaning on the stairs. They still get lean.
Yeah.
they still shredded.
Yeah.
There's not a right or wrong way. There's just a,
Yeah.
if I can be the baddest bitch doing the thing that I'm doing, I'm gonna be it, you
Yeah.
know?
It's
But
so
apparently for me, it's not stairs.
see that like the mom in me is like thinking about variables and like the mom slash coach in me is thinking about variables and like all the things that make things different for different people. So like there might be, I mean, you want to, it's working harder, right? Work harder or work smarter, not harder. So yeah, I think because I mean, I've had clients too where it's like, oh, like you can't push yourself that much, but then you find out, well, they're also their activity throughout the day is insane. Or like, you know, guys who are doing like construction and they're just like, I can't gain weight to save my life because they're burning so many calories doing what they're doing. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think my job is pretty equivalent that way. Um, which is why I take 2 days. Like I do 2 days of training and then I take a day off because I'll get 15 to 20,000 steps in a day, which is like 10 miles,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
No,
It,
that's a very good point.
so I don't know. I just don't want you to discount that. Like you might be a badass if you had an online job.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
I
You
just feel like
are.
it's a little badass, but no, I mean, it's not discounting. It's just,
Yeah. But you want to
it
do the least
you,
amount of what you need to do to get to where you need to be. That's really the goal.
right, the least amount, meaning not like, if I get if you can get here by optimizing, that
Yes.
doesn't mean that you do the bare minimum that gets you here. I
No.
mean, you still get here,
Yes.
but you're smart about how you get there.
Yes. Yes, 100%. And that's why like back in the day, coaches would be like, you know, they'd take on a client and they'd be like, here's your diet. It has no carbs and 1100 calories, but you're 16 weeks out. They wouldn't think about what the person's already doing. Because what if you got a person that is already like 2500 calories is a deficit for them? There's no reason for you to start them at 1200 calories.
It's only gonna fuck up their metabolism.
Yes, for sure. And you're gonna lose lean tissue every single time because your body is gonna be like, we're starving. Let's get rid of the most taxing product on your body, which is muscle. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So we've learned like so much over the years. I feel like it's always fascinating because like you said, you can have somebody who's dieting on 3000 calories and no cardio, and then you've got somebody who is at 1500 and doing an hour a day on the Stairmaster, and both
Kind of
end
where I
up
am.
looking
And
amazing.
right. And I look like right. I mean, it's so important to take that into account because um I can't look at what other people are able to eat
Yes.
because I have an advantage where I put on and maintain muscle really easily, which in turn means I don't need a lot of food.
Right.
I'm hungry, I want to eat, but to be where I need to be, my body doesn't need a lot of food. And it's just the way it is. And then some people
Yeah.
don't put on muscle easily and they have to force feed themselves. So people
Yeah.
in my position are like, oh, you're so lucky you get to eat. And then they're like, oh, you're so lucky you get to maintain muscle and put on muscle with not eating. You know,
It's like
everybody does.
like when you were little and you wanted curly hair because somebody else, and so you curled your hair, and then the girls with curly hair wanted straight hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Right.
what's important to you, biceps or abs?
Right. You want to be swole, you want to be shredded.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I think about what Ariel Kadar said. She said, I love that the industry now, I feel like the whole fitness industry, especially online social media, is really embrace whatever your body will do and what you want to look like. I think
Yeah.
we're really
I would.
stepping away from like It's not the thigh gap. It's not just the big butt. It's whatever your body looks like. That's, you want to be healthy. You want to, whatever, make it happen.
That's a great point. I remember when Instagram, before it had like its little worlds in it.
Yeah.
I remember I followed like some Victoria's Secret models. I followed, different women, and um I remember getting like a little bit of a, I don't think jealousy is the right word, but like an envy of like a 5'9" skinny Victoria's Secret model. Not that I like wanted to look like that, but I liked the way she looked, and I want, at that age as a teenager, you want to be something, you want to look some way that isn't you necessarily. And then I remember coming across, I believe it was Wendy Fortino, who I told her, I messaged her like a while ago, and I told her this story. I remember coming across her, and I was like, that's what my body looks like.
Mhm.
And I like that. And she's 5'3" and muscular and shaped like me. So I at that point I unfollowed. I stopped following like those models because I didn't like that feeling that I got in my gut when I felt like that jealousy. Um, and now I can follow those people because I'm like, I'm not 5'9". I will never look like that. I can't look like that no matter what. So it doesn't even bother me. But just intentionally looking at people that had physiques that were possible for me
Yes.
made me so much more secure in myself.
Yes. And you can, and then when you're comfortable, you can appreciate other women without being envious or jealous of them. So, but I think sometimes it takes that. I mean, it goes back to kind of what this theme is, right? Like you kind of have to change your circle and lessen your environment, change your environment, your world, whatever it is.
Be around things you like and not around things that you know.
Yes. Yeah. It's so funny. This is such a great segue because I was going to ask you, this might be hard for you to pinpoint, because I know my answer. So that's why I thought maybe it would be a good question. Are there any particular accounts that you, because there's probably a lot, but anything in particular that really sets apart, like a woman that you follow or two that just it inspires you or whatever every time you see that person? Like who do you just love for whatever reason? It might be superficial, it might be what the words say. I mean, I go back to what Instagram was like, and it was pictures. So I always think about the pictures that I really like to see, you know? Is,
Yeah.
is there anybody that you think of like when you're scrolling, you just think like every freaking time she nails it? You know what I mean? Like who do you love?
Let me look at my Instagram because I don't do a ton of scrolling on Instagram, but like I do, I follow a good amount of people, and I do, there are a lot of people that I really
That you love?
appreciate like looking at, and not just like their physiques, but their kind of personality
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
I follow a lot of like meme stuff too, so that's it. And lately my feed has been showing me like all those suggested posts like a lot where it's like half my feed. Um,
I'm like big into food lately. I'm running into so many food things that do you like, I know you like food, but do you like dessert type stuff, like sweet stuff?
yeah,
Yes.
I
I'm
do.
like, I could be like a fat baker for the rest of my life and be very happy.
Oh yeah, it blows my mind like how there's the people like there's a good number of like fitness bodybuilding people who have like bake shops.
Yes, the cookies and stuff. Mhm.
How are you so fit? I don't
They're
like
obviously not
I
eating
guess you
it.
get numb to it. I don't know, but like
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like my first prep ever when I was like 16, 17.
Yeah.
I remember like 2 weeks out from my show, I bought all this stuff to bake. Like I made like slutty brownies and I made this giant sugar cookie and filled it with cookie butter and it didn't bother me at all. I made it without eating any of it. I didn't even lick a spoon. It was no thought. That was my first time through.
Okay.
And I feel like it's different after that. Like after that, I since then it's like I don't want it around me. It's not that I'm gonna cheat, but I just don't even want the temptation there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So shout out to all of you who bake brownies and cookies and don't touch it and still are shredded and and make the rest of us fat. So
This is a different type of badassery. You're talking about Rachel and the stair climber. People that can avoid the Cadbury cream egg sitting in front of them.
right, right.
So for your first show
I'm
though, did you like your diet probably wasn't as strict, so that's probably why. Like,
no, it was. Well, my first coach ever gave me macros, and
yeah,
I think the first plan he gave me, he told me what to eat, and then going forward, he gave me macros. And I remember writing on pieces of like blank paper, like printer paper, and I had a folder, and I wrote what each meal was, and I looked up, the macro conversions and everything, and it was these meals I put so much effort into making them, and now I it takes me like I meal prep like bulk chicken, bulk rice, and then I make like my dry oats and I do it whatever twice a week and then measure my meals for the day in the morning. But I used to spend like it would be like 6 hours. I would take over my parents' entire kitchen. I'd be like simmering quinoa and like baking spaghetti squash and measuring out like cottage cheese and grapes and these quartering avocados and like I measured like the carbs in my cinnamon. Like
okay.
not that anyone told me to do that, but it was just I knew that everything I was eating
Calories.
had the macronutrients and
Yeah.
I made it work and I wrote I wish I had these papers still. They must be somewhere. I don't think I threw them away. Um but I it was all the same foods that I eat now, but I was definitely more variety than I do now just
Yeah.
for now it's simplicity's sake.
Yeah, you were more creative with you're like, oh, I want some variety, but even with simple meals though, like you add some spice and they're very tasty. Like I could eat a
Oh yeah.
chicken broccoli rice meal with, some good seasoning on it. I mean, I don't have a problem eating that even multiple times a day.
No, it's delicious. But it's not spaghetti squash with homemade sauce like tomato sauce and shrimp and
Right.
like I like peeled like I would like go to Whole Foods and like spend my parents' money and I didn't have any concept of how much groceries should cost and Whole Foods is so expensive. I would spend like $200 a shopping trip. They were like, "What are you buying?" I'm like, "I need it for bodybuilding."
So funny. Who did you think about who are your wow people on Instagram? Who
Um,
who inspires you?
well, I'm looking through my feed. It's literally all like memes. But I really I follow a lot of comedians. I enjoy that, but I know that you're asking about like actual like people in the industry. Um,
I mean, it can be whatever gets you going.
yeah, I mean, you ever seen the no like meme accounts? I don't. Who do I look at? I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. Like I don't look at people.
Do you follow the Babylon Bee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I did. I used to
Oh,
at
okay.
least. That's funny. I love that sarcastic stuff.
Yeah, the satire of like what's going on in the world. We
Yeah,
need that.
that's so funny. Like anyone who gets mad at that stuff, like Get over yourself.
Ex-
Uh, do you follow the gains?
No, but I have like a couple of my friends will send me stuff from there too. They're pretty
It's
funny.
like heavily sexual like jokes, but it's a lot of it stuff. A lot of stuff is about the gym. Like it's
Yeah,
funny.
like some of the gym stuff. Yeah.
Crazy bitch probs. Um. Uh. Okay. Well, one woman that I love. Oh, wait, I found one I really like. Um. Ashley. What's her name? Fittest Ash ever.
Oh,
Her.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ashley Lakamowski. Yeah.
Yeah. I love her photos. I love them. I think
Yes.
like she and her husband are so cool and fun, and she's stunning, and the pictures are just like they're so, it's like personality, but they're not, I mean, he has a camera all the time. They always have the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, I love her physique, but the her
Yeah.
outfits are cool. Like I've definitely saved her stuff to be like, I
Yeah.
want to look like that effortless, but like try really hard to look that effortless, you know?
Let me go to for people who don't know, let me go to her a second. Cause you know what I love about Ashley? Her freaking quads
Oh yeah.
are how do I get this out of the way? Eh, Um
Search. Search is on the left.
I know, like our stuff is in the way though. I can't hit it on the here we go. It was, oh my gosh, why is that like not lift?
I don't know. It's not there for me.
Because I can't, it just like it moved and then it didn't move. Ashley's quads. I mean, well, on the here we go. What is this? Okay, I didn't mean to hit that. It's like making me hold on a second.
It's funny because on my end and probably the people watching, there's nothing.
I know, and I have like bars across, so I can't access the search bar where I want to be because there's like
Can you
um
go out of this
oh,
screen share and back into it?
there we go.
Okay.
Uh where is, are you sick?
I think it's just from my weekend. Like I'm just run
Oh,
down.
yeah.
Yeah, I deserve this. I really
Well,
do.
here, I'm gonna go to me and then I'll go to my following. That'll be easier. Oh, I can't search it on here. Well, that's dumb. Why can't I go to the mm, this is really annoying.
Do you? It says search right under where it says home.
Um, oh, I'm so
Yeah. Got
thanks, Melissa, for
you.
your tech. She's fittest Ash ever. I was gonna say I was gonna tell you who mine was, but she actually posted this. Where is the quad shot? That this is insane. Her
Yeah.
quads are so sick. I just love the conditioning is unreal. Oh yeah, see, I wrote the gnarliest quads.
They're really dense. Like,
Yes, her cuts are so deep and um yeah, great
yeah.
stage. I wonder when she's gonna, well, I'm supposed to have her on. We've been trying to set up with her. She's another, you know what? Everyone who's popular in the industry is very, very busy. And that's just the name of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Uh,
her hubby Mike is a photographer, and so they
right.
take pictures everywhere they go.
Yeah.
They must
Yeah.
wake up in the morning and be like, where do you want to go photo shoot?
Right. And they can because he's got a camera ready and she looks beautiful all the time. So,
Yes. Yeah.
um, the other, okay, the person that I came across that she's not a in the fitness industry, but her
Okay.
videos, I just love them. Her name is it's Miranda Derrick.
ITS.
It's yeah, Miranda Derrick.
Okay.
First one.
Got
She
it.
is such an incredible dancer. It's so
Oh,
cool. Like I can't stop watching.
oh yeah. Fun. Yeah, I have a yoga girl that I follow that just literally bends herself into 5 million pretzels and it blows my mind.
I mean, she does all different styles, just like the way she moves. Like something about people who can take up space with their body, um, so not just unapologetically, but like confidently and just like move with no hesitation. That's something that like really inspires me
Yeah.
because that's like one of my like that like posing is like my hardest thing in bodybuilding. So to watch people dance and use space like that, I
Yeah.
love it.
The internet has opened up so many worlds. You know, like back in the day, like I always used to watch Dancing with the Stars because I was just like that ballroom dancing was just the coolest thing ever, you know? And it was like sexy, but it was like beautiful. Yeah. Anybody who has, I just feel like, how can you not admire anyone who has a talent? Because they're breaking barriers in some way or another, proving you that, you know, proving to people that something you didn't think could be done. Like the human body is just absolutely amazing. It's,
Yeah.
it's just amazing. What fun. So is this like her, it's got to be her boyfriend or husband,
I
whatever.
think that's a friend. One of the black guy, I think is her husband.
Okay.
But you see her dancing with a lot of the same people. I guess they're like a group
Like,
of friends, or I don't know if they're all signed together or what, but
yeah, like teams or whatever.
yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. So I was like looking up here for like the search, and you're like, it's on the left, Deb. Um,
You were like, yeah, but this. I was like, okay. I don't know what you're
I'm
seeing on
like,
your screen.
so this is who I just think like she's so stunning every time I see.
Uh, she is.
I'm like, you have to have like the most beautiful face I've ever seen. I just can't. I'm like, she's so freaking cute. They recently went to like, I don't know what it was, like something like Mardi Gras or I don't even know. And she was like, looks like
She's
this.
ugh, she's stunning.
Yes, like she's cute and stunning
It
and
doesn't even make me mad. She's just stunning.
yeah, like just gorgeous. And then even without like, you know, even without like all the makeup on and like she's just freaking cute. Like she's just so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love her. That's when I see every time I just think, so cute. Like I hope they make many, like populate the world, make beautiful
Need
children.
more of them. Make
All right,
babies.
here's my other crush. I just love her so much. Oops, let me go.
Oh, Renee. Yeah.
Yes. Where is it? Where is her? Why is it not coming up?
She just came up with my feed actually.
Um, it's weird. Maybe she's banned. You know how
Renee.
sometimes people have that and you search them and
Yeah,
then
it's just like, like your name doesn't come up. I've
yeah,
gone to like, tag people and like, well, let me tag them. Like just like their name doesn't show.
yeah. And then I'm like, I didn't know them right. I love Renee. I think this might not sound good, but I feel like she's one of the wellness girls whose physique looks, I don't want to say achieve, it just looks, I don't, achievable is not the word. She doesn't look freaky like
I,
it's
I,
like
yeah,
it's I don't want to say it looks wrong on sometimes on them, but it like Renee just looks like bam. Like she just
yeah,
looks freaking amazing all the time. And she
yeah,
can be shredded or she can be, you know, at the peak of her um of her improvement season, and I just love her, and her personality is fire too. So I just love her.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm never mad when she like, I'm like, girl, you can post a picture, every day, multiple times a day, and I will always hit the like button. Like, yeah. And she's real. I love that too, because she'll be like, I'm having a bad day. This is why. It's just like, yeah, like keep us entertained. You're amazing. She's awesome. She's just awesome.
Another, we're talking about beautiful people.
Fan girl here. Go for it.
Yeah, Emily Pribula.
Emily.
She was MI40.
Is
She's
it,
bikini. I think she's still bikini.
how do you spell it?
Emily YPRI. Yeah, first one. She's just freaking gorgeous and she's so sweet.
Hmm.
She's so pretty, like so freaking pretty.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Oh, look, here's a face strap.
Yeah,
Oh, cutie.
yeah, she's like a Barbie doll, and she's such a badass in the gym too. Like,
I see this.
yeah, she trains really hard.
I love that. She's a bikini competitor, you said?
Yes, I believe she's still in bikini. I know she's done bikini in the past.
Nice. Oh, yeah, just
Yeah,
gorgeous.
gorgeous.
I know like you're not supposed to be like, I feel like, I don't know. I'm like, there's no accolades for, I'm like, if somebody's pretty, they're pretty, but it doesn't mean that we can't acknowledge it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
like
yeah, no,
if
you didn't
anyone,
accomplish anything, but I can still be very, I don't know. I don't even want to say inspired by it, but it's like I can really appreciate that you're beautiful, and that's fine, you know?
yeah, I mean that's another biological thing. That's we are biologically attracted to certain things about people, and one thing is facial symmetry,
Yes.
which equates to being pretty or attractive. It
Yeah,
just is. And
girl.
so she's pretty.
She sure is. I love you I wish you would do more photo shoots because you're so stunning. You're stunning anyways, but you're still stunning in pictures. You are very symmetrical. Like face, physique, like side to side. It's like, have you ever done one of those mirror things? Because I feel like you would just, it would be the same. Like if you did the split.
I haven't I think like one side of my face is like, I mean, it's I'm not perfectly symmetrical, but I've done on my DEXA, I've had like my body symmetry done, and it's pretty close side to side
Yeah.
better than most people. And that's why I'm like, okay, I'm figure, you know,
Yes. Yeah.
that's the whole thing in figure is the symmetry.
And I know we've said this before, but I really love your quarter turn side shot because you just have the perfect thickness in your glute, and everything is amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, my side shot is something I don't know if proud is the right word, but I'm blessed in that area if it comes to genetics. I know the side shot is hard for a lot of people, and I think I've have a pretty good one, and I'm going to be able to show that this year.
Yes. And um, yeah, I would say, between your work and your genetics, it's just come out because it is hard to make it look like something from the side without
Mhm.
you just looking like, whatever. It's hard
Yeah,
to
I mean,
see for,
a lot of it with the figure side shot, it comes down to, I mean, posing first of all, because that's how you present it, but the shape of your rib cage, the shape of your lats and their insertion. Some people have a flatter rib cage or a rounder rib cage.
Yep.
Um, because some people are wider from the front, or some people are really narrow from the front, but have a rounder rib cage and wider from the side. So those are all things that are genetically out of your control.
Yep. You can see here too. Yeah, but you just have a lot of shape and bubbles from every angle, and that is it reminds me of like when people talk about Phil Heath and how he just had that 3D look. And a lot of girls, I think, don't have that 3D look from the side. Like I'm much more flat from the side than I am like from the front, you know.
I noticed that a lot looking at other people's photos and their side shots, they look um like
It
this way,
collapses.
not so far this way. It's yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, so you have like this good, like if you were from the top, you're like more of a block, a square, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
rather than a plank, like
right,
what people would be.
right.
So yeah, it's super cool. I'm so excited to see you step up on stage again. And I think you had such a productive off season because you were in such a better mental place for building and improving.
Yeah, I'm definitely in a it it's amazing that because I've been bodybuilding for so long and um so a lot of the things that I've like a lot for a lot of people bodybuilding is something that is implemented into their life later
Mhm.
after they've done a lot of self-discovery, and of course with bodybuilding comes more self-discovery with implementing that discipline and everything, but I've gone through phases of self-discovery, good and bad, all through the time that I've been bodybuilding because it's always been part of my life. It's not like it wasn't like a separate thing. It just is what I'm doing while I'm also
Yeah.
growing and learning and developing.
Yeah.
So, and particularly this past year has been another phase of that uh, growing. And it's crazy to think how many ups and downs I've had and how um, bodybuilding's always been my light at the end of the tunnel in
Yeah.
terms of like I understand that any decision I make, um, I understand that everything is in my control.
Mhm.
Everything is in my decisions
Yeah.
and in my discipline. And whether it takes me a month to change a habit or get out of a rut or even like positive things where it takes me 2 years. There are things that I've been going through throughout the entire duration of it that are still sometimes better, sometimes is worse. So that's life. But yeah, no, this year has been uh especially cool, especially being around other people who after doing this for so long, being surrounded by other people who are also doing it and have also we can share experiences and expand off each other that way. That's
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's interesting. Like I love when women decide they want to get into this sport whenever they do, because I just feel like once you know something, you can't unknow it and it becomes a part of you. So once you've learned a discipline or aspects of something that adds discipline to your life, I mean, we've all talked about this many times on many of different podcasts that it does bleed into every aspect of your life and you're constantly adding to that. But the base is always going to be there because you can't unknow. On a very simple level, I think about it even with just like reading food labels. Once you know what's in that food, you can't unknow that. So you can't say you didn't know what you were putting into your body.
I use that example all the time, and that's not. I guess that's basic, as in like pretty foundational for this. Like once you know what like a carb, a fat, a protein is, which many people don't, and to me that's a pretty basic knowledge. But I also understand that people who've never learned that, there's no reason that they would know it. People
Sure.
are like, is they don't know that like potato is a carb,
Sure.
and to us that's like obviously what else would it be
Right.
like they but or like is fried chicken a good source of protein? Well, yes, but there's a lot of fat in there, there's carbs in there, and it's people just don't know. But
Yeah.
once you do know,
Yeah.
and you have a plate of food, it's very or or you look at a menu, it's very hard to look at the menu without seeing what's a protein, what's a carb, vegetable, what fats are in this meal. Like I went at my birthday dinner, I was ordering I got a fillet and I got two sides. And I do this a lot. I asked for the I wanted green beans and I said, can I get them with no butter or oil, just steamed? He said, okay. And I said, and to counter that, and to get my fats in, I would like some French fries.
Yeah, of course.
And he laughed. And it was funny, but then, my friends and I were discussing that, well, if I'm gonna, why would I have the butter as my fats when I can get the fats from the
Yes.
fries? Why I don't need fats in both.
Yeah, and I love this so much. This is why I don't like labeling foods good and bad, because there is a place for all foods. So, I mean, I was doing this for the longest time. My mom would always tease me because like I would eat a salad like with protein for dinner so that I could order, chocolate cake or something for dessert. It's like you get to choose. And when you start labeling foods good and bad, now there's feelings, and we go back to what we were talking about, feelings, there's feelings and emotions attached to things rather than figuring out micronutrients and like, I'm like, I don't know, all foods matter, I guess.
Right.
you know
Yeah, I mean, or something like I used to, because I had this understanding of protein, fats, carbs. I remember specifically one time I went to this breakfast place called Miss Shirley's. It's in Baltimore. And I wasn't on a meal plan at the time, but even like when I was off season and not following a plan at all, I still ate, accordingly because I understood my food. I couldn't unsee it. But I was having a treat meal, whatever. And I got pancakes. And it's not that that wasn't enough food, but in my head, my pancakes were my carbs. So I also ordered a salad with salmon on it. And now I had two meals and I felt like I had to eat them. And I did eat them. But thinking back on it, like, months later, years later, whatever it was like, I just ate more calories.
right.
Like, I was just eating more. Like, it doesn't matter that I didn't have a perfect balance of macronutrients on my plate.
Yeah. And this is where it's good at looking at your whole day or even a week. When I've talked about this before, but I know most people use my Fittest, and it's great, especially because of the database. If you're tracking foods of like what you can plug in, but the Carbon Diet app, I use that before when I was actively trying to cut. And when you plug in your food for the day, whatever is left over that you didn't use rolls over to the next day. So you can dial things back a little bit throughout the week to save up calories for the weekend if you thought you were going to go out or whatever. And, in the end, you're still going to have, the same result because it's the total calories that matter, you know,
Eh,
maybe not for prep, but
I get what you're saying. I'm really against the whole like week thing. I was just talking to my friend at the gym about this with training. Your body doesn't know that it's a 7 day cycle. That's why our training splits don't have to be 7 days.
oh, yeah,
I mean, I get what you're saying where like
yeah,
yeah, it does all even out. And if you use a week to scale it, fine.
right.
But generally it's not like your body's like, oh, it's been 7 days,
No.
reset. Your
Well, the
body
only
doesn't know that we named the day Monday and that it's Monday again.
the only reason it does that is because like usually you'll have a weekly check-in. So it's accounting for from check-in to check-in, giving it a time frame. And like I said, you can use it in any manner, like what you were doing too. You might be like, well, this is where portion control comes into play, or I can eat more protein later in a meal. Like it doesn't have to happen
That's true.
per meal.
Right.
But these are things you learn over time. And like you said, you wouldn't know unless somebody told you, like, the reason that you want to have protein at every meal is because it distributes it better. You're more likely to utilize more. There's a variety of reasons, but you can do it otherwise and still achieve results. It just might not be optimal or whatever. So
Right.
yeah, people
Right.
can really fall victim to what they should be doing when that might be what they can do in the first place. So you got to do what you can do, right?
Yes, 100%. It's doing something intentionally and with direction is better than not doing anything at all.
Yeah,
That's
or
like
in your
saying
inter
that's
yeah,
like saying I can't bring my prepped food, so I'm gonna make horrible choices when I order food.
right. Yeah, and people fall into this a lot too. They're intermittently doing their diet correctly, or training balls to the wall, and then you can't go to the gym for 4 or 5 days because you're so freaking sore.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
which I think, it's kind of like what you were talking about before about, training. I mean, everything is about being as smart as possible, not just what is the hardest or the most badass or the biggest struggle, because most people aren't. I mean, this is why they quit anything. It's because it's just too difficult to adhere to.
Yeah. And sometimes on the other end of that, it is important to go to a place where maybe it's not, maybe it isn't optimal, but you had to break something in your mind. Like I have days where I will lunge until I'm literally sobbing, like actually like sobbing, hit the ground, knees bleeding. Is that optimal for my training? Not necessarily. It's not necessarily bad either. I can recover from it now, but it's not purposeful in my training in terms of what I'm trying to achieve in hypertrophy, but I need to go to that mental place sometimes
Yeah. Well,
for myself,
I think about this with like, with nutrient dense foods versus more processed foods too. Like I've had many clients who I'm like, have a cheat meal this weekend, or this week, or like I remember one client specifically, she was like, my husband ordered pizza, so I ate 2 slices of pizza, and she was like, instead of my dinner meal, and then she's just like, I didn't, like, when I checked in, I was actually still lighter, like I still was losing weight. Like people need to do that to recognize that it's not the food that's bad. Like yes, it doesn't have the most nutrients, but as long as you're in a caloric deficit, you're going to stay on track with you know with your
right,
progress.
right. I have a client who she's a new client, a lifestyle client, and she's she's eating, she's one of those people who like forgets to eat because she's busy and it's just like food isn't something that she thinks about. And
Yeah.
um so our first progression is just eating throughout the day. Eating, I think I have her doing 4 or 5 meals, and she's getting them in, and it's hard, but she's eating them. She has days where she is working and forgets to eat or puts it off, whatever. Or a couple of wins is that she had a day where she ate her first meal, and then she got really busy, she forgot to eat, and then she didn't feel like making a meal, but she had a bagel and peanut butter, and that wasn't what she was planned to eat, but she was like, I figured it was better than not eating because I wasn't going to cook. And I was like, great. And then she's traveling right now, and we're doing this. I wasn't like, pack all your food. She's a lifestyle client. That's not realistic. Um, but she told me that it wasn't according to plan, but for breakfast she got like uh avocado toast and yogurt and fruit and didn't even touch the bacon. And it's like that is such a win because no, it's not exactly what's on the plan, but you're consciously making a choice to not have the thing that tempts you and instead have something that is good for you and a better option. And that's all you can ask of people trying to form healthy habits.
Yeah. It goes back to what you had said, right? So it's a closed loop that she is hoping to create. And what's the opposite of the closed
Other way
loop?
around. So an open loop is automated.
Yes.
A closed loop is intentional.
Yeah, so she's being intentional in hopes to make it automated, which is, I mean, that's how behavior change happens towards a healthy lifestyle. That's how it works.
Yeah, yeah. I've done things like I think it's funny when some people say that they don't like cake. Have you ever heard people say that? Like, I don't like cake or I don't like fast food. I call bullshit. But if that's what you have told yourself and now it's not even like it doesn't even cross your mind to have it, it's like I just don't do that.
Yeah,
I have implemented that to myself where I'm like, I can just decide that I'm a person who doesn't do that thing or doesn't eat that thing and tell myself that.
right.
And now I am that. You know,
Yeah,
you're like, okay, I don't even things like if you've ever been in like a public bathroom or something or a gym bathroom, there's like paper towels all over the ground, and you're like, someone should really pick that up. Well, I'm someone, and I've like formed this thing in my head where I'm like, when I see that, like I I have if I notice it, I have to pick it up because I don't know, that's something that I've told myself that I want to be a person who does that. Now I am a person who does that.
yeah, yeah. Or, I mean, it's a lot of things like, I'm not somebody who leaves grocery carts around. I am somebody who always returns her grocery cart, or you know, but it's the words we say to ourselves all the time. I know one that I do that I need to stop doing is saying I'm not a morning person, because I will never be a morning person if I say I'm not a morning person. But yeah, you feel like you're lying when you're not actively practicing as a morning person yet, but you have to kind of tell yourself who you are before you become that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I was talking that same cousin I was talking to about something else. I was telling him about um the you can literally decide who you want to be. If you admire things about a person or dislike something about yourself, you do something that you know you shouldn't do, just be the fit, make that conscious choice one time to do the thing that you admire. And now, once you do something once, it's always easier to do it again, whether it's negative or positive. If you do something negative, if you've never smoked crack, and then you decide one time you're going to smoke crack, well, it's going to be a lot easier the next time that that decision comes around to do it again. But if you never do it, then you're more likely to never do it. Same with good habits.
Yeah.
If you are like, I always let my laundry sit out after I do it, after I wash it. Well, today I want to be someone who puts it away right away. So you put it away right away. Well, now next time you're gonna be like, well, I've done it before. I can do it again.
Yeah.
And that's how we close or open that loop, I guess. In this case, an open loop is a good thing.
People are going to be like, you're such a liar. I'm like, I'm just telling you who I want to be.
Right. Right.
I think that's what it is, though. Like, we're afraid to own the behavior change because we are, we could fail, right? I mean, that's why.
100%. That's exactly it. It's no, that's something I struggle with is um I the accountability that comes with declaring something,
Yeah. Oh,
declaring it out loud.
yeah.
That's something I struggle with certain things that I'm working on right now is I realized that I'm not doing this thing not because I don't want to do it or because I think I can't, but because once I do it, then there's accountability that comes with it going forward, and that is pressure. That's scary.
There's such beauty, though, in owning that. Like, I feel like the last 2 years has been like this whole healing journey with my food relationship. And to be able to say, like, I have a healthy food relationship is mind-boggling to me, but I know it's true. And it's because I had told myself through that healing process that I have a healthy food relationship. I don't label foods good and bad. I know the base of nutrition, and I follow that 75% of the time, and I have a healthy food relationship. And you have to really be fearless in declaring what you want from life, I think. Yeah.
And shameless. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, Melissa, it's always so fun. If only people could be a fly on the wall for our conversations that aren't recorded,
Right.
but they can't. So it's so great. We should do this more often. I have to think about this too, just because I can't get everybody together. You know, I know that you usually are able to make time for me, and
I enjoy this. I do.
yes, this will be our screen chat. Yeah, I love you so much. So happy 26th birthday to you.
Thank you.
Mhm. I'm so glad that you're in my life.
I'm really happy to have you in my life too. This is like doing this. Have we met? Have we seen each other in person?
No, we've never met in person.
Isn't that crazy? Like, I mean, it's like it is what it is, but like you're not gonna be at the Arnold, are you?
No, no, it was something I don't want to get too negative about, but I know it was something that Brooke had wanted to talk about a little bit too, just the whole dynamic of certain categories not being represented. It's very, that's tough. Like it's grating on me. And I think at this point, I feel like it should just be the guys men's bodybuilding, and let's just call it that.
I agree with you very much with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Um, everybody works so hard in every single freaking category, and there's really no rhyme or reason for who they're choosing to display an award. And so to me, I don't know, it's tough because as somebody who's been in this industry a long time, I went to my first Arnold in 2013, and I worked for Metrics. And it was just different back then. And I don't mean to wax nostalgic, because everything evolves, and COVID really did throw it really messed things up for a little bit. So we're not really trying to get back to where things were, but things don't necessarily make sense to me. Are you going to be working at one of the booths there?
Yeah, I'm gonna be at the NASM booth.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I'll be there.
You'll have to report back like what the expo is kind of looking like these days, because I
Okay.
haven't been to one since 2018,
Yeah,
28.
I'm curious. I haven't been to an Arnold. Never gone.
Okay.
So we'll report.
Okay. That sounds really good. But yeah, I know you understand too, because I feel like every year they pluck a couple more categories from the stage. And I remember Whitney Jones was saying too how like it was nice that they would have some of the competition at the expo, so that people who couldn't really afford to go to the actual the actual show could see like what bodybuilding competitions looked like right
Okay.
there. So I don't know, you'll have to let us know what's happening there. It'll be good.
Okay. I will.
Okay. Is it this weekend? Or
Uh, yes, it is. Yeah, we leave on Thursday morning.
okay.
Probably pack.
Okay. Sounds good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say this on air, but something happened with my Zoom, and normally I can stop the podcast and then we chat for a few minutes or whatever, but for some reason it just closes. So when it ends, it ends.
Oh, okay. Well, I love you, Deb.
I love you so much. Let me quick finish up by saying thanks to everybody for listening and watching to another episode of the Women's Fittest. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. This will also be on my YouTube, Buffcake22. And remember that healthy looks different on everybody. Happy birthday, Melissa.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.